Everything they told you was under control just exploded because in the span of 48 hours, two bombshells just rocked Washington to the core, and nobody in the establishment is safe anymore. Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, yes, that Ghislaine, is suddenly offering to testify before Congress. And just hours later, the Department of Justice, the DOJ, under Pam Bondi, tried to slam the door shut on her entire case. Why? Well, what exactly does she know, and who is she about to expose is more importantly the question that we need to be asking. And so while that fire is burning, another crack just split open, okay? Disgraced Congressman Adam Schiff is now at the center of a federal mortgage fraud scandal that could land him in some very serious legal trouble. Now, who else did we hear recently over on the Democratic side that got caught up in some mortgage fraud allegations? Oh yeah, Letitia James, New York State Attorney General Letitia James. What's going on here? Are we starting to see a pattern here? Anyway, so this disgraced congressman by the name of Adam Schiff is now at the center of a federal mortgage fraud scandal. And it's not looking good. Signed affidavits, dual residency claims, and a paper trail that doesn't lie even if he does. And the patterns keep showing up again. Those are the same patterns we were seeing with Letitia James's case. So you've got hardworking Americans paying double-digit mortgage rates just to keep their homes. And then here's Adam Schiff, the same man who pushed the Russia hoax, allegedly lying on federal documents to get lower loan rates on two houses. Oh, wait, didn't Letitia James allegedly do that on two houses? I don't know. All while preaching to us about truth and transparency. Well, here's what you need to ask yourself. What if Ghislaine's testimony and Adam Schiff's financial cover-up are connected? What if this isn't just two scandals, but one big, huge web unraveling? Well, President Donald J. Trump, now fully back in command, is not letting any of this slide. According to Laura Trump, he's not only listening to the MAGA base, he is already working hard behind the scenes to bring transparency and real justice back to this country. So, of course, today we're going to break down Ghislaine Maxwell's surprise move, Adam Schiff's busted affidavit, the DOJ's shady timing, and exactly what's going to happen next if this truth actually gets out. Guys, this is not just about Maxwell. It's not just about Schiff. This could expose all of them. Now, before we get into it, hit the like button, drop your comment down below. Do you believe Ghislaine Maxwell should testify publicly? Yes or no will do. And don't forget to subscribe because that is what we're going to be covering next. And specifically, what I'm about to drop on you guys, this is going to shake Washington even harder than this. All right. So President Trump, he's, running the country. Joe Biden's out, and the air in Washington, D.C. is really starting to change here. In fact, the old guard, the media darlings, the corrupt career politicians, the protected elite, they're sweating. Why? Because two major scandals just collided. One is explosive enough on its own, but together, guys, they threaten to blow a decade of cover-ups wide open. Let me tell you. Now, on one hand, you got Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted, sentenced, buried, until suddenly she wasn't. And on the other side, you got Adam Schiff, the same man who once branded himself as America's moral compass, now caught up in a mortgage fraud scandal. And this looks more like a paper trail of privilege and deception. But I don't know. Let's be honest, guys. The very people who spent years silencing dissent, censoring truth, and mocking the MAGA movement, they're now the ones that are scrambling to cover their own tracks. But believe it or not, it gets even wilder because just when it looks like more smoke or the smoke was starting to clear, Maxine, or I keep calling her Maxine, Maxwell, she made her move. So this woman convicted of 5 federal crimes, sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in Jeffrey Epstein's global trafficking operation, has never once admitted guilt. Not in public, not in court, not even in sentencing. But now she's not just talking. She's petitioning the United States Supreme Court to throw out her conviction. Her legal claim? That Epstein's infamous 2008 sweetheart deal included immunity for his co-conspirators. That included her. So now, look, anybody, or well, I don't even want to say anybody. Let's go and say nobody's saying Maxwell is innocent in any moral sense. But the argument, this has legal legs. And this is really why she's been pushing the Supreme Court to take a second look. But here's where things really take a strange and almost cinematic turn. So just hours before the Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi filed a formal request for the Supreme Court to ignore her petition, Ghislaine Maxwell dropped a bombshell. She announced her willingness to testify publicly before Congress, not behind closed doors, not through lawyers, but publicly with names, dates, and details. Now, ask yourself this, guys. If Maxwell is just another convicted criminal, why does the DOJ want to silence her so badly? You got to ask yourself that. Why block her Supreme Court appeal just hours after she offers to talk? What are they afraid of? What are they afraid that she might say? Because if she's bluffing, okay, fine, whatever, right? But if she's not, well, she's sitting on the kind of testimony that could expose a massive chain of secrets leading to the very top. And speaking of silencing, that brings us to what Pam Bondi and the DOJ did next. Now, give me just a second, okay? Because there's several things I want to cover with you, but some of the things we're going to cover is, going into Pam Bondi's shocking DOJ move, which just dropped, the deep suspicions that it's raising, and of course, how Roger Stone says the Clintons are already panicking. Now, you ever feel like you're overpaying, but nobody can explain why? This is what happened to Ed. He's 84 years young, living on a fixed income, and just trying to stay ahead. After calling Chapter, thankfully he did, he ended up finding out that he was eligible for a plan that saved him $684 a year. $684 a year, guys. I don't know about you, but that's not small change. That's groceries, that's rent, that's like years and years of Netflix subscriptions. And this is exactly why I partnered with Chapter. They don't just answer the phone, they answer your problems. And they're totally free, believe it or not. I know it sounds too good to be true, but in this case, it's not. If you're even a little bit, even like teensy weensy bit, if you're even that much unsure about your plan, you need to call our friends at Chapter. Phone number's down below, 909-563-8279, or go to their website at askchapter.org/Ron. I'll leave a link for you in the pinned comment down below, guys. Ed made the call, and you should too. Don't wait another day. So now, here's where things really start to kind of reek of calculated cover-up. After nearly 4 months of silence on Maxwell's Supreme Court petition, the DOJ, under Attorney General Pam Bondi, all of a sudden springs into action. And not to support justice. No, of course not. Not to demand accountability, schmaccountability, right? But to urge the Supreme Court to ignore her request. Now, I want to repeat that, okay? The Department of Justice, under Trump's own administration, formally requested that the Supreme Court refuse to even review Ghislaine Maxwell's legal claim. Now, I want you to really think about the timing here, guys. Maxwell's been in prison since 2022. She's been quiet, compliant, even forgotten by most of the media. But the moment she signals her intent to speak publicly to Congress, suddenly the full weight of the DOJ moves to shut her down. Now, is that a coincidence or is that coordination? Now, here's a trigger for you, the viewer, okay? Is this about pursuing justice, or is this about protecting powerful people from the truth? I mean, guys, think about it. This move has already sparked some serious outrage in the American base, in the America First base, all right? Because, look, if Trump's administration is about draining the swamp, then why does this look like a move straight out the deep state's playbook, right? Did anybody happen to catch that, what happened? Unless Bondi's move is a chess strategy, not a cover-up. There is that possibility, right? Kind of a way to block one avenue while setting the stage for public congressional testimony that would expose far more than a courtroom ever could. Okay, hold that thought, okay? Because according to Roger Stone, this isn't just about Bondi or the DOJ. This is about the Clintons and their decades of buried secrets. Now, Roger Stone, he did not mince words. In a recent interview, Stone said that Ghislaine Maxwell's sudden move to testify has set off all sorts of alarm bells inside Clinton world. Okay. And that basically, that Bill and Hillary are now doing everything that they can to stop her from talking. Why? Well, because Bill Clinton's ties to Jeffrey Epstein are not rumors. They're very well documented. Anybody seen pictures? Well, we're talking about multiple flight logs, trips to Epstein's private island, the public denials that never quite lined up with the facts. And now the woman who knows everything, the one who handled logistics, the one who scheduled meetings, the one who saw who came and who went, and well, she's finally ready to talk. So you think that the Clintons are not nervous? Stone says that they're panicking behind the scenes, calling in favors, leaning on media allies, and pressuring government insiders to just bury Maxwell's testimony before it ever sees daylight. Now, imagine this scenario, right? Maxwell testifies, she names names. Suddenly, those crazy conspiracy theories about global trafficking rings and political blackmail aren't theories anymore, they're evidence. Now, think about what that does to the entire system. Because if Ghislaine flips and if the Clintons fall, who's next? Okay. Now, some people are saying the Obamas and, hey, Diddy. I want to just wait until it all comes out. Okay. So while the left hand's trying to silence Maxwell, the right hand, Adam Schiff's, just got caught in the cookie jar. Now, we have reports confirmed by federal House investigators that Adam Schiff falsified key details, allegedly, in mortgage applications, not once, not twice, but multiple times. So here's the alleged breakdown. Adam Schiff owns 2 homes, one in California and one in Maryland. But in 2011, while serving as a California congressman, he signed an affidavit certifying that his Maryland house was his primary residence. Now, why in the world would he do that? Well, I think it's rather simple: to get a better loan rate. See, guys, I don't know if you've applied for a mortgage recently or maybe refinanced your home recently, but a primary residence loan comes with way lower interest rates, better terms, and just more favorable approval. The catch: you're legally required to live there. Otherwise, it's called fraud. And so you can't live in Maryland full time while serving your district in California. One of those statements is a lie. So ask yourself this, guys. Was Adam Schiff lying in California to the voters, or is he lying in Maryland to the banks? Because either way, somebody got deceived, and Adam Schiff personally benefited from that deception. Allegedly. So this isn't some clerical error. This is a man who helped launch the Trump-Russia hoax, sat on House intelligence, and now he's being investigated for real fraud involving Fannie Mae mortgage loans. And not just one loan. We're talking about a pattern across like 5 separate loans involving these 2 homes. So this isn't owning 2 houses. This isn't playing the system at your, he is literally playing the system at your expense. Now, let's talk about how Adam Schiff responded to these allegations. This is really what's bigger than any of this so far. But did he deny the documents? Did he show proof of living in Maryland? No. He said, and I quote, "Members of Congress, almost all of them own more than one home or rent more than one home because we're required to be on both coasts." That's not a defense. That is purely deflection. Owning 2 homes is not the problem, Congressman. Lying about which one is your primary residence in order to defraud the loan system, that, my friend, is the problem. And so, of course, Senator Ron Johnson, he nailed it when he said Adam Schiff is completely evading the main point. Because if you or I, look at it like this, guys, we're just regular people, me and you. If you or me lied about some mortgage paperwork, if we claimed a false address in order to save thousands of dollars on a loan, would we not be in handcuffs? Wouldn't we be in jail by now? Not behind a podium? So, yeah. So I want to ask you, did Adam Schiff commit federal mortgage fraud in order to enrich himself while the rest of us are getting crushed by 7 and 8% interest rates and skyrocketing housing costs. I mean, where's the justice in that? This is the same man who said Trump was corrupt, the same guy who claimed to stand for truth and democracy. And now Adam Schiff's he's the one that's caught cheating the system here. And he's still refusing to admit it. So let's get brutally honest just for a second. If you or any normal American falsify your primary residence to secure a better mortgage rate, you better believe you or me will be slapped with some federal charges, your credit would be destroyed, and you probably be denied for a loan for years, if not prosecuted and thrown in jail outright. Probably even foreclose your house. But when it's Adam Schiff, the man, he gets to sit behind a microphone, throw out some smug answer about congressmen needing 2 homes, and expect the media to just clean up after him. That's the game, guys. That's the system. And you and I, hey, we're not even invited to play. It's rules for those guys over there. None of us. This is the same man who pushed the fake This is the same guy who pushed the same Trump-Russia collusion narrative for like years. Same guy who helped fuel like 2 different impeachment hoaxes. Same politician who weaponized lies to try and remove duly elected president. Guys, and now the same guy, he wants us to believe that he is the victim, that this mortgage fraud scandal is just Trump coming after him for owning 2 houses. Give me a break, guys. Anybody buying that? Because I'm not. I mean, he wasn't just owning 2 houses. He was claiming both as his primary residence, signing federal documents and possibly committing all sorts of bank and wire fraud in the process. And while Adam Schiff manipulates the system for financial gain, you're working overtime, trying to keep a roof over your family's head. That, my friends, is the double standard. This is the swamp President Trump vowed to drain, and now that he's back, the heat is on. So let's talk about President Donald J. Trump, because unlike the previous administration, this president doesn't look the other way when corruption explodes in public view. When asked about Adam Schiff, Trump didn't hesitate. He called Schiff one of the lowest of the low. He said he would love to see him brought to justice. Anybody agree with Trump on that one? And he wasn't talking about revenge. He's talking about accountability, because while Schiff was busy defrauding lenders and gaslighting America with phony narratives, allegedly, Trump was building a case for real transparency. According to Laura Trump, the president is listening closely. He hears the MAGA base, the America First movement, the millions of our voices demanding that this corruption be finally exposed. And you know what, guys? Trump is not pretending that this is top of his list, because he's also restoring order on the border. He's dismantling the Iran nuclear threat still, and he's managing international peace negotiations because he's aware. And when President Trump is aware, he's already 10 steps ahead, waiting for the perfect moment to act. This is what separates him from pretty much every other politician in D.C. He's rather strategic, patriotic, and above all, loyal to the American people. So let's go ahead and connect the dots here. You got Ghislaine Maxwell over here, right? Basically a woman who trafficked minors to the rich and powerful, offering to testify publicly because Congress, well, we don't really know her reasoning why, but I will say she's offering to testify publicly before Congress for the first time. And just as that offer goes out, the DOJ rushes to block her. I mean, you got Adam Schiff, one of the loudest anti-Trump voices in D.C., now caught in a blatant mortgage fraud scandal. And his only defense is lots of congressmen have 2 homes. We didn't ask you about all that, sir. But what if these are not just parallel scandals? What if they're pieces of the same puzzle? He's framing the media. Here's the framing that the media will not touch, okay? Maxwell's testimony could really confirm things that many in Washington have desperately tried to suppress for years, including how powerful politicians were protected, they were compromised, or even blackmailed. And if Adam Schiff's financial misconduct is exposed at the exact same time, well, then the whole narrative shifts from isolated incidents to a full-blown system of elite corruption, a system where politicians use their power to silence truth, enrich themselves, and weaponize the DOJ against political enemies. Think about it, right? Maxwell testifies The Epstein client list gets confirmed, names are dropped, connections are made, and all of a sudden, Schiff's mortgage fraud case becomes more than just paperwork, becomes a symptom of something far bigger, a culture of entitlement, manipulation, and immunity for those at the top. And who gets left holding the bag? You, the American people. We're just told to sit down, shut up, trust the process. Guys, they're saying this to us while they're building mansions on lies. But not anymore, guys, because under President Trump, this is not about sweeping corruption under the rug. This is about dragging that corruption out into the light and burning it down piece by piece. So I want to ask you directly, do you really believe Adam Schiff deserves to be prosecuted if the documents prove fraud? Should Ghislaine Maxwell testify publicly, live, under oath, and with cameras rolling? Because if this isn't about one corrupt politician or one deep, dark secret. This is about all of it. The lies, the cover-ups, the elite class that thinks that they're untouchable. But not anymore, guys. Under President Trump, the game is changing. And the people finally have the power to demand justice. So drop me a comment down below. Tell me what you think Adam Schiff and Maxwell are hiding. Hit the like button, guys, so that the truth breaks through the algorithm. And listen, if you're fired up right now, YouTube thinks you're going to love that video that popped up on your screen. And honestly, guys, they're probably right. It dives deeper into the storm that we're watching unfold in real time, guys. Click that video now. Do not miss what's coming next. We're not done, not even close. I'll see you on the next one.